And for number 4, we're given a diagram, and it says the diagram shows part of the curve y equals x squared minus 1 over x squared. The shaded region is bounded by the curve, the line x equals 2, and the x-axis. Find the volume formed when the shaded region is rotated through 360 about the x-axis. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. Right? So whenever they say the shaded region is being rotated through 360 in the x-axis, it means we use limits in the x-axis. So let me just write it as x limits, and the limits that we're going to use, they are this one and this one right here. So we have 2, and the other one we find it when y equals 0, because we know it on the x-axis y is 0. So if we say y is 0 there, x squared minus 1 over x squared, right? 1 over x squared should be equal to x squared. Then 1 equals x to the power 4 by cross multiplying. Right? Oh wait. Then we do this, we get our x equals to 1. So 1 and 2, those are our x limits. Right? And because they said it's being rotated in 360 through 360 about the x-axis again, we know that we will be using an expression in y squared. So if they say it's being rotated through the y-axis, you know that you'll be using an expression in x squared, right? But here, because they said it's being rotated through 360 about the x-axis, we're going to need an expression in y squared. And for us to get that, since we're given y, we're just going to square both sides here, right? So y squared will be x squared minus 1 over x squared like that, right? And using these limits, right? So for volume, we know it's pi times the integral of x minus 1 over x squared, right, with respect to x, like this. And for us to be able to integrate this, I would want to first expand this to make it easy to integrate. So expanding this, it's like x squared minus 1 over x squared minus 1 over x squared, because the bracket is multiplying itself, that's why we have a squared here. So x squared times x squared, we get x to the power 4, then minus 1 plus 1 over x to the power 4, right? Now going back to this, it's pi integral of x to the 4 minus 2 plus x to the power minus 4 dx, right? Now integrating this is x, then we add 1 to the power, we divide by the new power, minus 2x plus x to the power, adding 1, it will be minus 3, then we divide by the new power, right? Now with this, we then substitute our limits, the x limits that we talked about, 2 and 1, right? And substituting those, we are going to first substitute 2, then we get an answer, then we say minus the answer we get after substituting 1. So substituting 2 to the power 5 over 5 minus 2 times 2 is 4, that's that, we get 2 and 43 over 120, right? And we're going to say minus, substituting 1, it's 1 over 5 minus 2, it's 2 minus 2 and 2 over 15, right? And you know this will give us a plus, so it's 2 and 43 over 120 plus 2 and 2 over 15, and and that comes down to 4 and 59 over 120 pi, and that will be the volume. So if they say the shaded region is being rotated through the y-axis, just know that you're using limits in the y-axis and an expression in x squared. So if you already have an expression in x squared, like in this case, you just have to make it subject, then you integrate the expression that you get. And if they say it's being rotated about the x-axis, you use limits in the x-axis and you use an expression in y squared, right?